the cameras.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like I don't want to spend more money. I already got a camera that should. I mean, it's not the best, but it works. I don't want to spend money on something I already have.
Oh, that camera's like automatically following you around, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you move. Okay, I got you.
I don't know if it's me or if it's you, but I'm like, I got you lagging. Does everybody else got Paul lagging a little bit?
Well, isn't he always a little bit?
Yeah, it's give me a couple more
just
beers.
Part of his personality, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a lagger, as opposed to a logger.
He's enjoying his lager. So.
Yeah, the lagger's enjoying his lager.
Coffee
right. I like it.
Oh man,
making me want a lager now. So maybe I will.
Hey man.
Oh, you actually bought it in a glass. Look at you.
That's the only way to go. Lager in a glass, please.
I got a special glass here. I got all kinds of.
Try some Guinness.
There we go.
That looks like a Guinness glass almost.
Yeah, that's what I was. Please pour Guinness in that thing, not a coffee. Whatever that is.
Guinness is, man, that's a pretty weak beer, man. At least the U.S.
Dude, yeah, the U.S. version. You got to find the one from Mexico, man.
Mm-hmm.
6-pack is all you need, man.
So, how was your week, Paul? You have anything new in the theater going on?
No, I'm still planning. I'm blaming Kelvin. I think I'm gonna go 18s instead of 15s.
Oh gosh,
everybody's got to go 18.
Yeah, well,
that's about as trendy as the slotted wall.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, he said, "Oh, blah blah blah," and I was like, "All right." And then later he sent me a deal on 21s, and I was like, "Okay, so let me get this straight. If I go 15s, you're gonna tell me to go 18s. If I go 18s, you're gonna tell me to go 21s. If I go 21s, you're gonna tell me to go carbon fiber 21s. If I do that, you're gonna tell me you should have gone 24s.
24s.
24s. Oh, you should have gone with the 50. I'm like, dude,
you just go for the 80-inch, and then you'll be done.
Yeah. And I was joking with him, of course, but the reality is, yes, it is. And I was sold on 15s for the size, but I obviously do my research, and it had nothing to do with the output or nothing, but it's cheaper to buy a pre-built or pre-cut cabinet and put it where I need to place it. And then it's an extra 3 inches tall. At first I thought it was 3 inches deeper. It's 3 inches taller, the pre-cut ones, which will allow me to set my surrounds right on top of it. So now I won't have to build that special cabinet on the back. I can just build the speakers and then set the surrounds right on top of them. So it's killing two birds with one stone. And
so it's an aesthetics thing. It's a logistics thing.
Yes. That's where I am mostly. If I had a dedicated theater, like fully dedicated, you would not see a speaker. I am not.
Right. It'd be totally invisible. So these Mag Theatrons that you're going to talk about in a bit here, what you heard was the Hammer 15. They make a Hammer 12. They also make an 18, a 21, and a 24. It's called the Thor 24, the Thea Thor, and that just looks like a monster. I can't even imagine though. But when you get to talk about it, there's something special about these Hammer 15s that sound like they go deeper than a lot of 18s that I've heard in other settings. Obviously not ideal settings necessarily, but
Yeah. So eight of them. I'm getting eight.
Also, I mean, you kind of have to have a big enough room to appreciate what a 21 or an 18 will do. Am I wrong? I mean, because if you're pressurizing a room with a couple of 15s, and the room is only whatever small like mine, 13 by 19 or something like that, 3 or 4 seats, then I don't know if you're going to get the rest of what the other speaker's going to do because the room's not big enough.
Yep, exactly. And that's my issue is since it's in my main room, I'm dealing with 8,600 cubic feet.
I got you.
So yeah,
that's a lot. That's substantial.
Yeah, and that's not where like my space is. The main space is 12-foot ceilings, and it's like 17.
But there's other parts of the.
But it's open
room.
to two other great areas with,
right
16-foot openings and a 6-foot opening. So there's no hiding those spaces, so
right.
that is considered part of the room acoustically. So unfortunately I'm dealing with, 8,600 cubic feet. So
Mr. Bill, he's under a time crunch. So I'm going to talk about what happened with me this week. So got an email from Raphael advising that he needed me to return the Arvolution NOS, and I was sad to see that go because it's an excellent product. It really is. It definitely works well with the Arvolution player, and it does a really nice job syncing up. It's nice and easy. I will say in the beginning, because of my inexperience in networking, I did have some problems. Nothing to do with the Arvolution itself. I was running I got my AT&T cable modem running into a Deco Wi-Fi 7 router, and I didn't have it on like an access point, so it was giving me a lot of trouble. And I finally just, Paul actually helped me troubleshoot a little bit.
As Rob says, user error is really what this is.
Exactly. Yeah. So, it was my inexperience with networking stuff that caused the issues in the beginning. But
well, you're not alone. It's a very, very network reliant product. I mean, it really relies on a stable network. And not only that, but when you're going through the setups, I remember when I first got on board with Arvolution and Zapedi, it was months before I actually started connecting all the dots and going, oh, now I get how this works. Because you go in and you don't know the difference between our video share or our share or local drives and where to go and where's the best paths to do. So I've been on the phone a lot lately with some new Arvolution NAS storage owners, walking them through that initial setup. But once you get going, man, it's a one button push operation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it it took just a second or two to find it on my network. And then, when I'm loading it when I'm choosing the folder on the Arvolution, it takes a couple minutes, not minutes, but maybe 20, 30
to
seconds
show up.
for it to show up also.
Yeah.
So
and I randomly find, because I keep a folder in my NAS for some of the studio work we do here, because we have two different production computers. So if my brother's working on a project and we want to mix it in my DAW, he'll pop the session into a folder on my NAS, and then I'll grab it with the other. And sometimes it just randomly isn't there. It's like, and these are the things that keep me like watching IT how-tos on YouTube in the middle of the night. Not even home theater stuff. I'm just trying to learn, wait a minute, why does a network just all of a sudden randomly not show you 3 locations on there? And then out of the blue, it doesn't seem to coincide with anything. But that's the stuff can be frustrating.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I think it's probably a simpler version of a real NAS, right? So if you're not, in the IT field or tech savvy to where you're
oh, I see what you're saying. A lot of the steps are taken care of for you.
Yeah, a lot of everything is taken care of for you
right.
prior to you. If I were to go just buy like a Synology NAS or a which one, a QNAP like Paul has, there's a lot of steps that it takes to build that thing and make it right. So this is a more of a plug and play option.
And advanced users, and I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but the advanced users will call me and say, hey, I can't access the NAS. It's got an HDMI on there and it's asking me for a password for the server. And I go, no, we can't. Right. And then I have to explain to them, look, for obvious reasons, we can't let you in there because the customer who you're describing, who doesn't know all the ins and outs of the IT world, they just want that button press and that's it. And if somebody gets in there and starts messing with it, then we're doing customer support all day, every day,
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so we take care of all the macros to the point where the backup is done, under the hood while you just close a drawer, and then depending on what you're copying, 40 minutes later or so, it'll just pop it right out. just like the and then everything else is taken care of for you. So
yeah, so I wanted just to give my little review on it. That I think it's a good product. It's a good fit for people that do not have a networking or IT background, right? So it's especially made for people that don't know how to go in and use a NAS in itself. So if you're familiar with those, yes, it'll do exactly what a NAS does, but you won't be able to, like Bill just said, you won't be able to go in and play around and set all the parameters and do everything you want. You can store some personal stuff on there, but to get full access, to open it up, to be able to share across different computers and stuff like that, it's not going to give you that capability to do that. But if you're someone that's just that, it's by far a better storage solution than the Kaleidoscape storage solution. Yes, we're going to get back into that again today. I brought the K word up, right? But it's by far a better storage solution.
It's not a fair comparison in my mind. So basically, is what our Volution is a Kaleidoscape for your personal collection and nothing beyond that. The Kaleidoscape is we don't supply the content for you. You can't purchase 4K versions of movies on our platform like you can with a Kaleidoscape. The thing that makes people think it's comparable to Kaleidoscape is when they look at the final product, because after it goes to the database and all the display and all the poster artwork is up there, it looks just as attractive and user-friendly as Kaleidoscape. So they go, oh, I wonder if and it's just not the same thing. It's just not. But
yeah, no, I mean,
it's a different. It's for
it
a different
definitely
customer.
is. But that's what I was.
I have a question that hasn't, I guess, been asked on the NAS for the Arvolution. I know it's obviously sold as movies, but you can put ISO movies and all that stuff on there. Can you put any other file you want and just say, hey, don't catalog this?
Oh yeah. I mean, it won't get identified.
Yes. Like I would purposely say, okay, hey, I want another terabyte over here just for like my photos.
Sure. Like I said, I share Pro Tools recording sessions on mine and back and forth with our two computers. We just keep it in a different folder.
Full-blown usable.
The only thing our Volution's going to look for is a folder on the drive that's called videos, and inside that is a folder called movies and TV shows. It's only so, and you're going to tell, because you go to the folder management and you tell the player the path you want it to follow to get the file, then it's only going to look for that. So, and then in the Explorer, you can actually pull up all that stuff in there. There's an Explorer section in our
you can go
player.
into your network and
you can go into the network, and actually I can go, oh yeah, I have a picture of that. Like if I'm sitting with somebody, and I can just go to the Explorer and actually go to that folder that I have that has photos and pull that up. Yeah, because it will show the JPEG, and then you can look at it on an 85-inch screen. You can look at photos with your friends too on that too. So
yeah,
that's good.
How far you want to go with it, it only depends on how intuitive you are. Yeah,
gotcha.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so like I said, I was sad to see that I had to turn that back in.
You had a long time with it, though.
Oh yeah, I absolutely did. I enjoyed it. It definitely taught me a lot about my network. It made me learn a little bit more about my network. Maybe learn a little bit more about the NAS, using a NAS in itself, right? So I if I didn't want it to do other things, it would have stayed here. And the bad part about it is that I ripped 8 full drives full of stuff that I'm going to now have to rip again, right? So I actually considered purchasing it, right? So I'm not going to have to rip them again, because I have these I have all my movies on these portables, right?
Right.
So I just got to get them copied back over to another NAS that's going to format.
Now, you can also plug that into right into your Arvolution player and access that folder at the same time.
Yeah, so it's nothing that I'm going to rush out and do right away, because I have a USB 3 dongle that'll house 6 or 7 of those drives. So there's nothing. The NAS isn't changing my user experience whatsoever on the Arvolution, other than the fact, my personal experience, other than the fact that everything was just stored on one drive,
Right,
right.
And it made it easy to look at
one place.
Correct. So, and I highly suggest getting it if you don't already have a NAS or not looking to do like major sharing files between computers in different locations and stuff like that. By all means, I highly can recommend the NAS. I had it for about 6 months. I mean, it was fantastic.
If you don't mind me throwing in there, for those of you who, because I know you have a lot of old school people watching, the people that are back from the Zapiti days, and there may be a Zapiti customer of ours from the past that's tuning into this that might be curious. And if you put, Zapiti NAS as one of your keywords on the video too, perhaps somebody will search it, finding, because I know there's Zapiti NAS owners out there that don't know that there's an upgrade available for that NAS that literally virtually turns it into an Arvolution NAS, updates it with all the newest software that's in there. So your Zapiti NAS is not a paperweight, nor is the Zapiti Neo or Signature or any of those players that we have. Even going back to the Pro 4K, we have firmware that can go into those players that gives it a path to the new database. So your $1,500 reference that you bought 3 years ago is not obsolete. It just, with one download of this software, you can have the Arvolution experience on that player as well, and have it for years to come. So
with all that said, I made so Arvolution's headquarters in the U.S. is not far from my house. They're just down in the Davie area. Some people may know it closer to like Fort Lauderdale if you want to choose a town that's more recognizable. In Florida, it's pretty close to Fort Lauderdale. So I went ahead and I reached out to Bill because I needed to return this because I've already had it for 6 months. And at the same time, Bill and I had been speaking about me going over and checking out his home theater, which Bill did a home theater tour on our channel. So on one of our live shows. So make sure you go back and check that out. But I got to experience the Mag Theatron speakers in
which
person.
Makes you only the third person in the United States who's heard them.
Well, I feel privileged because
hey, by the way, just to interrupt for a second, Croissant 606, it is running RAID 5. Just so you know, that's the real deal. So that was a question. Yeah. Anyway, right. Sorry about that.
So let me.
No problem. Yeah.
Go ahead and share my screen. And by the way, if you guys, I am a dealer for Arvolution. So if you would like to pick up Arvolution player and a NAS, by all means, please reach out.
One quick question from Chuck on your firmware and stuff. Where do you go to download that stuff for his PDs?
Arvolution.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you go to arvolution.com and go to the store, the where to buy section, and go to the US store, you'll see a product called the Zapiti NAS Update. It's $199. And it just upgrades it to the Arvolution. You'll even get more features and stuff like that. And also the player, for now, if you have an old player like a Pro 4K or a Neo or Reference or Signature, you can get the R video software in there and, make it so your player's not obsolete. But there is a subscription involved. It's $5.99 a month, or it is $50 a year. And I was under the impression that was going to be a temporary thing for a while, so just could get funded. But it is still in effect for now. So take that for what it's worth, you loyal customers. And and people have been very, very friendly to the whole Zapiti and Arvolution goings on, man. The customers are very happy with the product, and they really have stood behind it, and everybody's supported us very nicely through this transition. So we appreciate that.
I believe you can go to arvolution.com
and then where to buy
page. There's a download section, and it has
I'm sorry, you're right, it's downloads.
Our video change logs, our videos of PD players, our video.
Yeah, that's for the players. The download section has the updates for the players. If you go to where to buy, that's where you'll find the Zapiti NAS update, which is a different product. And at that point, then it gets updated, because our video does some really cool things, like you can have live stats. and look in at the health of your drives, the capacity and all that stuff, and watch a rip being done live. You can see a progress bar on that and too, stuff that we couldn't do before, but now that's all part of the system. But anyway, back to this beautiful media room you have here in this picture.
So this is Bill's theater with the Mag Theatron speakers, and as he mentioned earlier, these are the Hammer 15s.
Right.
I'm just gonna play. Let's just see if it'll play the video. Let me see.
Both in the front.
So he's got two. Go ahead and talk about your system.
The listening
there.
area is about 13 feet wide and about 19, 20 feet deep, maybe a little bit more. The whole to the left of what you're looking at is another 4 or 5 feet where there's a drum set up, but we have like temporary sort of walls there that create virtual corners there. So the listening area is nicely separated out. That is the surround, the S8 in the rear left, which is, so those are 8-inch surround speakers. The bottom is the, before you think that they're mounted upside down, they're meant to be mounted on the wall, and they should usually be above your head, because that, not horn, but that titanium dome tweeter that has a waveguide in front of it points the high end down, so it can go over your head or over the seat cushions that are usually blocking stuff from your surrounds and come down into the listening area better. Those are the S8s. Those are the 4 amplifiers, and from the top we have the 1200 TDC 1200. I'm only using one channel of that, and that's for the center channel. Below that is the 3200 watt, 1600 per channel, running the 2 Hammer 15s. Below that are 2 TQ 3000s, 750 watts times 4 for both of them. The top one's running my front left and right and rear left and right, and the bottom one is running my Atmos, my 4 Atmos speakers, which are CS 44s. They have dual 4s in them, and also a tweeter with a waveguide that's sort of directed down too. So everything points toward the main listening position and makes it so you don't have to tow in your speakers. And ideally, they're made to be behind the screen.
Yeah, I got a picture of that. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show that too, because that was something I thought was very interesting. Yeah. So on these amps, Bill,
all Class D, all Class
DSP built into these?
DSP into all of them. And so when I first had my first set of Hammer 15s and the 3200, that's all I had. And I was running it with all my Emotiva and Bryston stuff before that. I did mess with the DSP for a little bit. And I mean, other than changing the input levels a little bit and the output level on these, just to match them, just so that when I was setting up my quick measures on Anthem, I just made sure to get everything equal. I just dump down the output level of the 3200 a little bit. I haven't touched the DSP. It's all accessible with the IP app that's involved with all of them, so you can get into all the controls, do your own crossovers there if you want. But I just left them wide open and flat, and I do all that adjustments with the ARC room correction. Man, I'm sorry for that. That's way dustier than I thought that was. That stuff on that rack.
Let me get past this, because this is what I want to get to later.
Photo is way too revealing.
I know exactly what you mean. You walk around, you take a picture, you're like,
all right, so here's the left speaker. Like,
there's your front left. Now, the reason the top looks off kilter is that can be mounted. That speaker can be mounted vertically like it is, or horizontally, and that horn section, it's got screws in there and can be turned 90 degrees in either direction. So because that is the tweeter in there inside that waveguide is tilted about 30 degrees in toward the main listening position. So that makes up for not having to tow it. So you can have them flush behind your screen in a cavity there that you build, and then they will still sort of tow in. So everything in the room points toward the main listening position. And I don't know what you guys, I know on paper when I first kind of heard that was doing it, I'm like, well, wouldn't that make your main listening position smaller? And in fact, I think it makes it bigger, because when I sit to the seat immediately to the right of my dead center seat, I can hear way more of the left speaker than I could before. So I'm almost got this offset, nice dome that's identical to the one in the middle when you go off one seat to the left or the right. So I can confidently say that the whole main listening position gets bigger with this setup with Magnetron.
Yeah, and this reminds me of like your angled Atmos speakers, right?
Yep.
So they say when you're sitting in the middle that you want to kind of point it towards the seat next to you, and then the other, and then the right side one point across
to the seat to the left of you.
Yeah,
right,
correct.
Right.
So so that's
so everything crosses over the top. But didn't I see? You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't I see the original Dolby like specifications laying out Atmos? They wanted them pointing straight down. Isn't that like on paper? Isn't that what Dolby has? Am I wrong?
Yeah,
has anybody else heard
that's
that?
a little that paper was probably produced before they started making these angled speakers and stuff like that.
Yeah, right.
So
before the reflective ones came out, which is ridiculous.
Before the bouncy house, yeah. So all right, so that's the left speaker, and this is the 15 Hammer sub.
That's the Hammer 15, and I believe, if I'm remembering off the top of my head correctly, it's down to 16 is what the spec says. The amp that I'm running it with goes down to 20, but I'm telling you it results in something that's lower than both of those, because you heard it for yourself, and my hair was waving, and like the part of my shirt above my chest my crest was kind of doing. You felt it, and the seats were moving like crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the backyard the other day. My brother was in here watching something, and at one point the back door, which is pretty well sealed, it started to a point where I could actually count the vibrations per second. So, and I know it was less than 20 because it was tick, 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 tick. So it was almost like wow, okay, there's something really low going on there. And I have to tighten that door up.
So this is the center channel.
Goes straight on. So that horn is unique because it just points straight out.
Right.
And again, that can be horizontal or vertical. So I have it. It's not set up normally because I have a panel, a TV panel, so I can't put it behind the screen. So I have them all on stands. The center one I have vertical, and the other way around. I have the outside one's vertical and the center one horizontal. Oh, I have to go. Excuse me. I have to go find the Alcaraz match for my mom. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I got to be right back. I just got to pull up the Australian Open for her. Hold on.
No problem. So so this is another one of the 15s that were there, and I believe this one is the right channel.
What's the dimension for that center channel? How deep is it?
So I got pictures of that. So let me go to that. Okay. No, this is actually the right channel. If you see here, this portion of the guide is it's a lot longer, deeper than this. Yeah, it's a lot deeper than this side. So it actually pushes that towards the main listening position, like he was talking about. And and when he had them set up, there's literally no toe in. I mean, but they were just they were producing a nice center image. This is an Atmos.
So I guess that's why they've designed it for you to rotate, because if that design was permanent, the speaker the left will always have to be on the left.
Well, that's how they sell them too. So they have the left, the center, and the right.
But he said that you can rotate.
You can rotate that.
You can rotate
to make it just in case you want to swap it. But
lower.
Oh man, what a mess. It's a good thing my room is pitch black most of the time.
So this is we just showed them the right surround here with the wave guide.
Well, that's the right
on this
right front. Yeah, that's the right front.
Yeah. So it's a lot deeper. It runs a lot longer this way. So
I mean, and it's not a traditional compression driver. It's just a wave guide, if you will, in front of a nice.
This is the Atmos speakers. He had Bill's got 4 of these, or if you want to call them heights or Atmos, whichever one you want to call them. And that's with the grill off.
Nice.
That is the center channel height.
And this is, I believe, this is the left.
You can hear the complete dialogue.
Yeah. No, you know what I noticed, especially with the overpowering, the headroom that we have now in here is just amazing. These speakers, I think, again, forgive me for doing this off the top of my head. but I do believe they're rated at about 150 or 200 a piece, and they're getting 750 each. So the headroom that I have in here is creating a thing where I'm watching movie scenes that I've seen a bunch of times, and it seems like there's way more activity in the Atmos speakers than normal, and I know that's because I'm catching the lower signal stuff that my speakers weren't really driving enough before, and they're all coming through with this one. It's amazing, and there's more direction. There's more directional stuff going on. You know, Godzilla walks right over your head, and you feel like all the low end move with it across such a. I know that's a psychological thing because really the movement's only coming in the higher speakers, but you could swear that the low end's moving with it right across, right over your head.
All right, and this is the rear surround.
That is a rear right surround. Let me just take a look at some of these questions here. Can we get a detailed explanation why our video can't just catch a little?
Yeah, I'm starting the questions, Bill, so we'll get to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the
we'll make sure we address your questions.
And the short answer to that question is offline mode, but we'll get to that anyway.
Yeah, I'm starting this question, so just keep the questions coming.
So this is the depth of, was this the subwoofer? I think this was the subwoofer. No, this was the surround speaker. So we actually measured the depth of the subwoofer, and it was only and it's also got the Versa mounts on it too.
Yeah,
so you got the Versa mounts on the side and on the back.
Nice.
So
yeah, you can, and it does come with brackets that will attach to those top ones, and you can basically like ears that'll go on each side. You can do them flat on your flush right on your wall, which is great, which is ideal for those. So these could be sides surrounds and rear surrounds, and you could just have one on the wall to the side of you, and then one behind you. But the great thing about them is them all being higher than you would normally put them, because it creates more room in your room. You don't run the danger of walking into one of them or banging your head on one and getting out of the way of it. So I love the idea of the surrounds and the sides. I'm not a big fan of sides personally, but to have them be higher is just ideal to me.
So this is what the whole front stage looks like. Bill had what was your some kind of Sony, you told me, right? Sony.
That's the X95L, the 85 inch.
So 85 inch X95L, and I tell you what, when we got to playing movies, that thing blacked out like an OLED, man. I mean, it was very immersive. I even mentioned to you that the black bars disappeared in that TV. So it was.
I mean, I've had that TV for about a year and a half, and I read so much from the OLED purists about this TV and the Bravia, because this is more or less the older version of the Bravia 9. I think, I think this is what the Bravia 9 is now, or this would have been if it. Anyway, this was 23. This TV. So the OLED purists are like, a mini LED that'll never touch OLED with the blacks. It's just, I don't know why you wasted your money. See, and I was in it when I went to get this, the A80L, I think OLED was 83 inches, and this one was 85, and they were both around the same price. So I could have got an OLED, but I stuck with the 83, and I went, I wanted the extra 2 inches. Plus, my room is pitch black all the time anyway. So yeah, that's of course I lobbed you that. That's what she said.
Yeah, that was a softball. You notice I didn't jump on that. I was like, yeah.
But anyway, I went with it. So I read these things, and I think the OLED purists are being a little snobby about that, because that black is.
I agree with you. I got
plenty black for me. So
I got a mini LED as well, and blacks get pretty dark on it's a Samsung QN900, but yeah,
right.
It does really good. I mean, can't see the bars. They're definitely pitch black for sure.
I mean, it was the brightest TV on the market when it came out, and I think I might have been wasting a little bit of that brightness in my dark ass room. But I don't. It's not like I'm on a patio with windows where you would really need that. But it's like having extra horsepower. So I don't use all the brightness. And man, they are not kidding. That Sony. Everybody that told me when I got the Sony, just go with the standard setting and leave it there. Don't touch anything, because you can mess with it. The first week I had it, I think was a Super Bowl in 24. Yeah. Wow, I've
So
only
this
had it a
is
year,
just
and I got it for the Super Bowl, and the first thing I watched on it was the Super Bowl, and I went to Vivid and Standard, and I was like, oh my God, it's like Technicolor. Oh my, it's like 3D, but after a while you realize this isn't natural. This isn't right, but it's beautiful. Like you can saturate the colors and make everything extra bright, and it still looks great. It's just not the way it was intended to be seen. That's all, you know.
Yeah, so this is the depth of the Hammer 15s. We actually put a tape measure on it, and I guessed before we even. I said, "What are these, like 12 inches?" And sure enough, we put a tape measure on it. It was like 12 inches, like 12.1 or something like that. So it was right at 12 inches. I mean, for that cabinet depth, those 15s were definitely putting out. I think you said you got what 3,200, 3,500 watts going to them.
Yeah, and they're rated at 1,000 a piece, and they're getting 1,600 a piece. And I have the output dialed down to -4, so they're not running at 0 either. And that's plenty. And that was just like I said, to match everything, so I could get it at 75 dB when I did my room correction. So are the room treatments by Auralex? Don't be fooled by the little triangle wedges under the screen. That's a couple of leftover, cheap Auralex stuff, but all the rest of the stuff is that's in here is true professional Auralex. The 2x4 and 2x2 panels with the fabric by what do you call it? Forgetting the name of the fabric, but anyway, the real stuff. I was answering John Rabo's question about that. It's I've got an adequate amount of treatment in this room that we record vocals. There's a drum set to my right with 11 microphones on it. And the plywood that we built this converted garage out of creates just enough ambiance for those drums, but they're still dry enough to where you can produce them any way you want to produce them. So that nice, thick, dry drum sound. And then you can basically record vocals anywhere in this room, and it would be fine. It's just if you want to get really intricate, we have little corners that have little extra treatment that you can stand next to. So. But there's a whole lot more listening and stuff going on here than recording. My brother does his fair share of them in here, but we share the room.
Yeah, so I just want to talk about my experience. We didn't show a picture, but you're running the what processor?
Anthem AVM 70.
AVM 70. So I go to Bill's house. I drop off the NAS. We give it to the NAS, and we come back. We go to the garage and walk in, and immediately Bill hands me his phone. And I'm like, "What are you handing me the phone for?" And so he's like, "Look, here's all the volume control. Here's everything. This is how you get to the bass, the treble, everything else. You can control."
I don't know if you guys have used the Anthem remote on your phone. It's amazing because it has one big volume knob on the front. You can pick zone 1, zone 2, but then when you go to settings, all of your individual speakers levels are right there. So you can on the fly, you can go, this SACD doesn't have a lot of stuff going on in the rear. Let me bring the backs up a little bit. So it's really good on the fly adjustments, and it's great my whole idea was to hand you the wheel of the car and let you drive. But what you failed to mention is that before I handed you the phone, I did play you the scene from Godzilla -1 at what I thought was a very substantial volume where it could be a lot of effect and really, really hit them nice. Because I worked on this for days. I was going, when I demo this, what level am I going to play it at? Because I know I prefer it pretty loud. And I ended up playing him the opening scene from Godzilla -1 at -20. And then by the time Don had the remote in his hand and we're listening to stuff 10 minutes later, he's at -12, -10.
-10, -12.
You had my system.
Look, that's normally not where I would be, right? I would be.
You
where
drove
you were
my sports car faster than anybody's ever driven it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
So,
look, if I'm there, I'm not going to.
I shouldn't have handed you the wheel.
we're going to see what those Hammer 15s can do, right?
Yeah, and boy, I mean, and you literally got to a place where it was louder than I have ever listened to it or would ever want to. And I'm a rock and roll guy. I mean, for years in front of really loud stages and crappy monitors my whole life, and I've heard ultra loud stuff, but man, that was loud. And then afterwards I realized, holy crap, that was all perfectly clean. I couldn't believe that it was still clean at that level. So
no, it was definitely clean. You know, the room was treated well. We didn't get a lot of vibration or reverberation or anything like that. So it was, you know, it was definitely well put together. But like you said, I wanted to see what they can do. You hand me the keys, I'm going to step on the gas, right? So
of course, as you should.
So I wanted to see what they could do so that I can go back and say, okay,
and I appreciate that as much as you do, because I know there's a place that system can go that I didn't even know it could go. So
so I want to be able to say, okay, does this compare to the Ascendo system that I heard? Does this compare to the Germani system that I heard? Even the JTR or the RBH, right? I heard all those at M-Wave, and yes, the rooms were big at M-Wave, but a lot of people talk about JTR and how loud it is and what kind of tactile feel you get from a JTR. But I can tell you what, I didn't think that the two speakers that you had, and we talked about this, the two Hammer 15s, I didn't think there was anything lacking in them. I mean, we were definitely getting tactile feel, from multiple scenes that we demoed. I think we demoed Ready Player One in French. That was interesting. So
the French version,
he had the French version of the script was already made. By the way, if you're not familiar, Arvolution now has the ability to do scripts just as the Kaleidoscape does. So you can actually do scripts on the Arvolution now. But so we demoed quite a few movies. Fury, I had him go through the tank scene in Fury, and that's when I cranked it up. I mean, I think
quickly, the script, is it on beta or is it now into?
No, it's in there. It's in the latest update from a few days ago. And just while we're paused for a second, Anthony, they pretty much are in wall as much as you want them to be. Those are designed like they do have grills so that they can sit on stands or outside your wall if you want to, like I have, but they are made to be behind the screen, and the surrounds for that matter are very easily adaptable to in wall. If you've got they're practically shallow enough to fit inside a normal stud anyway. But
like
the depth,
right?
Yeah, well,
like,
no, I'm not talking about the hammers. I'm talking about the surrounds.
The surrounds. Okay.
Yeah. And just so you know, those M8s that I have, there's M12s and there's M15s. The M15 is basically the same box as the Hammer 15. So if you had a huge cavity behind your acoustically transparent screen, you could have just all 5 of those back there. The left,
which I
hammer,
do. We might
center,
have to talk about that later.
the hammer and the right. Just the whole idea of it seems insane to me. I can't even imagine. I would think you would need to be in like a 30 by 24 room for that to make sense. I don't know, because these 8s are doing just a great job filling this room.
So how many heights were in your setup? Was there 2, 4?
It's 5.2.4. I have 5.2.4, and it's only 0.2 because it's the Anthem. But we all know that everything's 0.1.
And I can tell you that the Anthem did a fantastic job, because when we watched that first scene where Godzilla is throwing people around, sorry for spoiler alert, but he's throwing people around. I mean, Godzilla panned completely around his room, grunting and making noises without, there was no lack seamless. Of sound anywhere. Yeah, it was seamless.
It was like, so I said, there's a scene where the guy is in the plane and Godzilla like leans down right over him and sort of like breathe. There's this really low growl, and the camera angle changes, and now he's behind you, and it's just perfectly done. And you're like, whoa, my God, it's got this.
Yeah, and it pans as the camera's changing.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying it really feels like the low end travels with it when it goes over there. Obviously, it's just a psychological effect, but it's done so beautifully. And that's the Anthem as well, because their crossover points are very specific, and the whole phase. I think their phase alignment is a key thing that's very underrated. When you're done doing your arc setup, and the very last thing is to just adjust the phase. I've noticed, I've listened before and after you've done that phase, and it's just everything just seems more locked together,
Scott with the jokes. Crow sound's got a huge
You have a
cavity.
huge cavity. Yeah, if you've got a huge enough cavity. Here I am thinking I'm using a nice, classic professional word, and you guys got to go all 6th grade on me on this.
Hey, I answered
it wouldn't be the home theater hub if we didn't.
Exactly.
I said my teeth are fine. Thanks for asking.
And we've only had one. That's what she said for the night. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that whole system that you heard today, I actually kind of wrote down all the MSRP on everything in my room, minus installation, cables, and room treatment. It's just a hair over 35.
Oh wow.
Okay, so for everything in here, and that's including the Anthem, which I don't sell. I'm just kind of, putting it in there with the rack and the Arvolution player, the Magnetar player that I have in here,
less than what I think I have.
That's
so those of you that went to M-Wave, I would probably compare this very close to the Ascendo room.
Yeah, the Ascendo had what, 16 subs in it or something?
Yeah, so, they didn't really push the bass in there when I was in there, but
I
would say signature sound probably around the same as the Ascendo. I can't be 100% sure. Obviously, we're not, we're months away from where we were, but I would say that if I were to compare them, and I even mentioned this to you too, Bill, it sounded like Anthem, right? It had an Anthem sound to it.
You mean Ascendo?
No, well, I'm saying the processor, right?
Right.
So when you get something that's doing a good as a job as the Anthem or a Trenoff or the Storm, whatever it is, your sounds, when it's doing its job the best that it can, it's a lot of these rooms. I've mentioned this before. They sound very similar, right? There's more similarities than differences, right?
Right.
So, and I found this to be the exact same in your room. So I mean, kudos to you. You got that thing tuned very, very good. And by no means were we lacking, and we didn't make it the reference, because I usually tap out.
My God, I wouldn't live through that. I told Don, I said my reference is like -13. So it's like, but you have to take into consideration if you're trying to get to 0 and when you've done your target adjustments and your room correction and you've boosted everything from 100 down up 6 dB, and then you go and you do your on your fly adjustments. You've got the center up +4, you've got the fronts up +2, you got the subs up +6. There's your 12 dB right there. You can't get to 0 now. So
yeah, I'm one that usually tries to leave the speakers level matched, right? So I don't usually mess with those. So.
I noticed a few minutes after you left, I didn't even realize you did this, but I was looking at my remote and I thought, so there's bass and treble and balance too, which I've never touched that because it's just like I want those flat because I want to if I make my little adjustments on individual things, I don't want that whole neighborhood raised. So I've never gone past like -0.5 or +1 in the bass and treble. And when Don left, I looked at my remote. He had the bass at +5 and the treble at +2. I was like, geez, I didn't even know it. I didn't even know you could do that.
He was trying to break his speakers, man.
He visited Kansas City once. It was like, hold on, no, it's got to be +30.
I handed him the wheels. I handed him the wheels to the Ferrari, and he just started laying patches all over the road.
Yeah.
He's going for the Guinness Book of Records.
Right. So yeah.
No, I mean, look, Bill, you have an awesome system there, and look, I will say that I have a different perspective on TVs also now, being in the theater, being your main,
I know you were saying while you were watching that, you're thinking, oh man, there's a 136-inch screen panel out there now. This might be the end of the projector, but yeah, I know. And my sound is still bigger than the picture in my room. So, but that's something I'm going to have to chase for a while. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm gonna let you guys go and do your thing. I know I've been kind of hogging up the time here, but I've told the story before. The way how I ended up with this stuff was sort of by mistake. And it was started at M-Wave because when I was at M-Wave, I was obviously there to show the Bridgie and Arvolution stuff. But I was there with Raphael, who knows everything about this stuff. And I said, I'm personally shopping for subwoofers while I'm here. And of course, I went to the JTR room. I was excited to hear SVS's in person, the Ultra 16s. And again, they weren't ideal rooms to listen to this stuff and the Ascendo stuff. And I spent a good time with Ryan talking about Ascendo and everything. And I got rather attached to that sub 16. That was a very nice sub, but I think that was as close as I came to being, But I left the show overall kind of underwhelmed. And to be honest, kind of flattered at what I had done with the gear I had and how I was able to make my room sound the way I did with vintage subs. I had Velodynes and Sunfires before, but I mean, I made the room sound great with them. So I was kind of proud of my, tweaking abilities after I heard this stuff. And then Raphael and I had a conversation at dinner saying, he goes, there's this brand in Ukraine. They've been making commercial theater speakers for years, and they just started a home theater division a couple of years ago, and you would love their subs. They're amazing. They're very rock and roll. There's the Hammer 15s. I have them. And if Raphael has them, you got to raise your eyebrows and go, man, okay. It's one of the brands he distributes in France. So I ended up calling the guy, the North America guy for Magtheatron, and saying, hey, is there any way I could get my hands on a couple of those Hammer 15s? Because we knew the big deal would be shipping, getting them over here. And so then the one conversation led to another and said, well, why don't we distribute you guys? And sort of just did it blind based on Raphael's. So fast forward to now, a few months later, we have Jordan Farrington up in Haterade. He's putting 3 subs together as we speak, 2 Hammer 15s and a DBV 18 for the back. So he's going to have even more tactile stuff than I do going on, but that's just subs. And my friend Gabe Hernandez from Echo Home Theater on the west coast of Florida has the 2 Hammer 15s and the 3200 that I originally had. So he bought those. And he's just finishing his demo room here soon. So he'll be able to have people, if they're in the Tampa area, come by and experience the subs. But I have the only full system set up in the United States right now. And we're a 15-minute drive from the Fort Lauderdale airport. I'm telling you, if you've got a client that's seriously interested in building a room and they want to do a really, really deluxe commercial theater feeling speaker setup, it's worth the trip to sit down and check it out because you'll get a really good idea. Even if you're in a room that's 2 or 3 times the size as mine, and you can still get a really great idea from sitting here and experiencing it. You can't see it because I have it's off to my side, but I got this posters, that one of those roll-up posters like we have at the show. At the shows, and it has now playing, and it's got a list of all the speakers and the model numbers of everything that's going. So while you're watching and listening, you can look over and see what it is. Wow, why does that sound like that? What's that amp? So it's all right there listed in details.
Yeah, no.
So quickly, I'll just pull up some of the. I know you're almost about a step away, but I'll just pull up some of the questions that we have. I know you had started addressing.
No. I'm cool. I can hang out. I just didn't want to hog up all you guys' time.
Oh no. I mean, there's questions for the product, so we would appreciate it if we can get some answers for some of them. So
Charlie B said he'd like to hear more about the Arvolution new scripted feature. That's I've yet to try it, but I know that there's a start point and end point that you can set for your favorite scenes and group them, categorize them. Supposed to be pretty user friendly, and you can expect it to obviously be updated and improved as it goes. While it's out there, we'll get the feedback from the customers and update it appropriately.
Yeah, and I think it allows you to do customer selected clips too, right?
I think so. Like you could share, share them with each other. Yeah.
You can, but
I don't know that you could share it with other people unless they had the same content. So I don't know.
I thought it was like user suggested, so you can take what it gives you an idea of what segments people suggested.
Oh, right.
From each movie, so you can easily just know what to go look for.
Yeah.
Don't hold your breath, Anthony.
So Anthony says I'm in Fort Lauderdale, off and on constantly. So when's my theater going to be done? So I haven't made any progress since the last showing. So, but I do plan on getting some baffles up into the attic and getting some insulation put in. I ordered my carpet, so carpet should be. It said 3 to 6 weeks. So
well, the big question is, do you have a huge cavity?
Yeah, I have a huge cavity.
Okay, just making sure you have your cavity is big enough.
Yeah, that's why he needs tins in his back.
So, but yeah, so as far as that goes, I'm hoping to get everything done. I was hoping to get it done by Christmas.
And Anthony, when you're in Fort Lauderdale, give me a call because it's worth coming by to check this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Bill, real quick before we answer any more questions, where can they get a hold of you to order or talk to you about Mag, Theatertron, Bridgie? They can call me for Arvolution since I'm a dealer.
So in a nutshell, we haven't mentioned Bridgie, but they're a very high-end cable company. It's not Audio Quest hysterical or anything like that, but very, very high quality. And I think in the durability department is where they really stand out. They have a detachable. I know you had some experience with that.
Mm-hmm.
The detachable
we did a
head.
live unboxing. I mean,
right.
the ISF one comes with gloves.
Right, like, white gloves in there, which is a little funny, but it's but but the price is like, especially when you go for long lengths in a 48 gig optical, HDMI cable with a detachable head. It's not hysterically priced. I mean, the 30 meter version is not that much more expensive than the 9 or 12 meter version. It doesn't go in triple and quadruple at that point, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Bill,
where can they reach out to you?
So all of our stuff is visible with links to the specific brands at letsget-physical.com, but you can reach me directly at bill at letsget-physical.com. So basically that's our distribution company. That we got that name from doing the physical media stuff with the Magnetar and Revon Blu-ray players, but we're no longer doing those. So now the physical applies to the physical experience you get from Mag Theatron speakers. So there you go. That's how we got you getting physical. So Arvolution, Mag Theatron, and Bridgie. So it'd be a good idea to hang on to each one of those. So if you visit that site, go to Arvolution and save that page. Mag Theatron, save that one, and Bridgie as well. There is some shift going on right now with the Arvolution brand where they may end up with another distributor soon. But we'll keep you posted on that, the news with that. So in case that happens, just keep those individual sites handy. And then Mag Theatron has a ton of information. If you get in touch with me, again, at my email address at bill@letsget-physical.com, I have a ton of the literature that we brought to CEDIA and to other shows. And Mag Theatron spent some good cash on their really nice brochures that have detailed explanations of each one. It's really easy to make A and B and C comparisons between the different sizes and speakers. And we all know it's always great to have your hands on literature like that rather than scrolling on the computer, Yeah. So and I'd be happy to throw those in an envelope and send them out to anybody who's interested, any integrators out there or potential customers. And
I didn't see that center channel at your house.
Where? What center channel?
Am I not showing that? Oh, let me see. Let me go back.
Page.
Let me share this one instead. I apologize.
Oh no. Okay. Now that's a whole nother level that Mag Theatron. Now I've only seen pictures of this stuff. I haven't seen any of it in person. They didn't even have it at CEDIA. This is their, oh man, I wish I could remember the name of the line. I'm going to pull up the site myself here just so I can tell you. But that is, there's a, I don't want to say the name of it wrong until because it's really impressive. So I'm going to go to the speakers here and just show you. It's Falcon series. So what you can do is build a whole wall behind your screen, and all of the speakers get integrated in it. They fit together like Tetris almost. How they line up behind your thing. Where are these things? I can't find them on the website right now.
Wall O base.
Yeah, and not only bass but everything else, like the center, the left and right, and the two subs. They all integrate together, and that is all next level stuff. It's a little more on the luxurious side than the commercial side, which is how I would describe the Hammer 15s and the M15s. They're very commercial like products. That Phantom is a little more luxurious and slick. Like, I guess if it, and the thing is, the assembly that goes behind the screen is so attractive. It's a shame. It's a shame that it's covered up. Oh, there's the Thor 24. Right. That thing is just a monster.
It's got an angled driver too. It's pretty cool.
It's a monster. And I haven't been able to experience that in person, but that just looks like a killer. Our Revolution 8K Pro R video constantly closes when I open it.
That picture's deceiving. I can't believe that's a 24-inch driver. That box must be enormous.
Yeah, it is. It is enormous. But I don't know. And look at that, 134 dB SPL.
Yeah, that's
$9,900, and that's passive. So you're not going to find an amplifier in there either. So you're going to have to power that bad boy up.
2,000-watt power rating. Wow.
Yeah, it's nuts. And I mean, if it had an amp, if it had a plate amp in it, you couldn't even lift it. You'd need a forklift.
You still need help with that one.
Yeah, there's the Falcon.
There's the 8,000-watt amp right there to power it.
Yeah, TQ 8000. That's 2,000 watts per channel. And bridgeable. So these are monsters. And that was another thing. I went from AB Bryston amplifiers to all very high-powered Class D. And I can tell you, man, I don't know. Class D is really getting it right. It's sounds better than I've ever imagined or known. And again, my only real experience with Class D amplifiers before this was, as you know, those really cheap ones. So, oh, that's right. I just saw the setup. Olivier's popping in. They're at ISE in Barcelona, and I already saw the rendering of what they're setting up over there. So their parent company is Mag Audio, that did all the like concert array systems, and they're like the RCF of Europe, sort of, I guess, like very high-end commercial or L-acoustic, that kind of thing. They and then they went into the commercial cinema line. So there's Mag Audio, Mag Cinema, and now Mag Theatron. Yeah, so there you go. The M's are 1784. They come in white too. Again, a speaker that's supposed to be behind the screen, but if you had to have it out front.
And then to make them left and right, you just unscrew and rotate, correct?
Yep. Or to make them horizontal or vertical, so they can move 360 degrees. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you can't really sell a speaker unless you put your ears in front of it. So that's all I can tell you is throw some stats at you. Take Don's word for it, my word for it, that this is a very tactile, very physical experience. I really feel I want to get to a commercial theater very soon because I want to see, because I really feel like this room feels like a commercial cinema. But I don't even know that a commercial cinema hits you that hard, to tell you the truth.
So John's our Revolution 8K Play Pro, the RF video constantly closes.
He's based in Dubai, so I can't help him. No, I'm just kidding. Based in Dubai, I even had to use a VPN for it to log in. No other apps have this issue. I love the player though, and he'll just do a full system reset on that thing. That sounds to me like some stuff is clogged in there. You shouldn't have to use a VPN. And get in touch with us. Again, use my email address. If I can't help you directly, I can always turn you on to one of our Europe guys.
Yeah, I would say try to do a reset and then see. Else we can help you get in touch with Bill or.
I mean, I don't even have a problem giving you guys my phone number on the show because I can deal with that.
We don't want to spam you with calls, but yeah, they can reach us.
Actually, I can give you the company the company number, which goes directly to my cell phone, is 470-800-9933. So it's not an 800 number. The 800's in the middle. So 470-800-9933. And then you just press 1 and you'll go right to my cell phone. You can call me anytime. And anybody that wants to visit this room and see it, I'm usually floating between Davie and Plantation where this house is, and they're only a few minutes away. So if anybody's like spontaneously showing up in South Florida and you want to check this stuff out, you can just get in touch with me, and I can fly over here and meet you.
Very nice.
And thank you, Don, for coming by. I appreciate it, because that's really, at this point.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. You guys have been, fantastic to myself and Ike. We love to promote good products. I was a PD user long before I became a dealer, and when I found out Raphael was involved with this with Arvolution, I definitely had to jump on board with that too. So,
I feel very blessed and lucky to have worked under Raphael for the last few years, because
I haven't really pushed a whole lot. I know that I haven't pushed it a whole lot because my room's not done yet. I want people to come in and actually be able to demo it, right, and actually be able to see it. So that's why I haven't really pushed a whole lot, and I still don't push a whole lot on this show. But
and all of the demos that I show for the Magtheatron stuff is done with the Arvolution player, so that you can kind of kill two birds with one stone, because you can see how that experience all works. And I'm happy to hand you the remote for that too. So, because and
I thought I knew that thing inside and out. The way you were navigating through that thing, you were going pretty quickly with it. So,
but again, that's something that took me months. And then once, like I said, once you catch on and you really connect all the dots, it's a really fun experience. I mean, I've got stuff ripped on that NOS that isn't identified, and like music discs and DVD audio stuff and some CDs. There's actually it'll automatically rip CDs to FLAC for you anyway. But I can just, if I jump out of our video, go to the Explorer, play stuff, jump back into video. It's like I hop around that thing now. And the Player Pro 8, not Player Pro, but I have the Player 1 8K now, and I had as a PD reference for a long time. And I got to say that Reference is a really, really great player. The our video app now is just a little faster, a little more streamlined, and the user interface makes a little more sense.
For the 8K on the Arvolution, like the 8K Player Pro, you actually have to have 8K content, or does it actually upscale?
It's ready. The processor just happened to be 8K compatible. They all do. The Player Pro and the Player One both have a very subtle 4K upscaling going on in there. That it's not adjustable. I think in the future it may be something like NVIDIA is, where you can select low, medium, or high or something. But for now, it's just a very subtle embedded upscaling that goes on in there. But as far as the 8K goes, it's ready. And the funny thing is when we came out with the player, it was just called the Player One. Okay. Oh yeah, there's the Bluetooth remote.
I actually ordered this. I haven't even opened it yet to use, but I just got it in.
There you go.
Probably last week.
And that will work with only IR with the old ZPD players, but it'll do Bluetooth with the new Arvolution players. But what I was going to say was the original Player One.
What's the retail on that, Ike?
$49.
$49, I think.
Oh shit,
I ordered it. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could sell that thing for $100 probably, but we don't. Yeah,
I just unboxed it.
I mean, I haven't needed it because I'm using Sofa Baton and I got my IR, hub pointed right at the thing anyway. So, but that is it's a very popular product right now. I think I just sold out of those, and I won't have more for a few weeks.
I probably ordered the last one. Go check your records. If it came to Texas, it was me.
Congratulations. What was I going to say? I was going to.
That one, the Player One.
Yeah, it originally was only 4K compatible, and it had a really decent chip in it. But then quickly, right after we put it out, the chip became scarce for some reason. And then when they were looking for replacement chips, the one they found just happened to be 8K compatible.
So I got a question.
Got to throw that on the name so it's ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the 4K player, there's a different type of 3D, decoding. So are you familiar with 3D? Because look, I'm a 3D purchaser. Look,
so here's the deal. The Mini and the Player One are the only two players that will do 3D. The Player One 8K and Player Pro 8Ks do not do 3D.
Yeah,
unfortunately. I mean, that was the one sacrifice we had to make. And I mean, it was just based on, You know, you do your.
Well, it'll play side by side.
What's
It
more
won't,
popular? Oh, it will. I didn't
top.
even know that.
Yeah,
I didn't even know that.
It'll play side by side or top and bottom.
Oh, okay. I
But
didn't even know that.
But it won't play the full 3D. Let me pull it up. Let me.
And
go,
the Mini will.
Arvolution.
The Mini will. That 4K chip will do it. So
let me see if we can go to find some comparables here.
Who's watching 3D? Any of you guys do 3D?
I used to.
You're talking to
one of the guys.
Don is the guy. He's all about 3D.
This is I imported this from Japan.
Don is the 3D king.
Yes.
Okay.
So I imported this from Japan. This is going for about $80 US right now.
Wow. Okay.
I hope your wife is not watching, man.
It's very coveted. I didn't get it for that.
You spent $80 on a disc?
I said it's going for. I didn't say that I did.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
I think I paid $65 for it through eBay. So it wasn't terrible. Let's see if I can.
What's the most any of you guys have spent on a piece of media?
I know people on a Dolby Atmos demo disc,
which I had just thrown at me a couple of years ago at one of the shows. I was like, "This has been, you know, how hard to find this disc has been." And then
I don't care how much it costs.
Mark was just throwing them around. He had extras at the last CD at Tech Summit. He just had the one from 2016. Remember that one?
Well,
I think that was the one that I have. Yep.
Yeah.
The Amaze and the
Lux edition of Gravity was selling for almost $200.
Oh, what are you talking about?
That's cheap. That's the cheaper one you've seen, then, because I've seen it more expensive. Then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, I have not seen Gravity yet. I have to see that.
That's one of the best Atmos movies.
I know. That's what I keep reading. I gotta watch that in here. What I was going to say was, I think so. You know, obviously there's deluxe, super deluxe editions and box sets and stuff, but I think the most I spent on a disc was maybe $105. I think for Roxy Music by Avalon. I mean Avalon by Roxy Music, the SACD. So
yeah, I think the Godzilla -1 when it came out, the import from Japan was also around the same.
Was it really?
Price. Yeah.
So that's
the one the US version came out, right? Before
and I understand the US version, the US dubbed version is not Atmos, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they just sold a new.
They just sold a new version.
A new version with 4K.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I like the subtitles. I like the Japanese version.
The new one that just came out about the month ago.
Yeah. No, it's Atmos.
It's Atmos.
So what we're looking at here is the comparison between the
3D,
the 8K, the 4K, player one. So this has frame packing. This is the original. So
what frame packing mean? That means that's the real deal,
right? Okay. And then these are top and bottom and side by side.
Got it.
So they do play it, but it's just a different type of. So I actually want to get my hands on one of these, the 4K to see.
I have one. I have
one. It's sitting in my snack room.
I have one at the office too that I could probably get for you.
I have one.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, because I'd like to see if I can see a difference between it.
I'll sell it to you for $2,000.
I just pulled one out of my room because I went to the Pro just to check out the Player One 8K. So I'll talk to Raphael.
Nah, just let me sell mine to him, Bill.
All right, there you go. Perfect.
What are friends for?
That'll work.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see if I can see a difference. So that'll be something that I look at. But I know a lot of you guys are going to say, "What's the point?" Right? So I actually enjoy 3D movies. I enjoy whenever we go to Disney. I have to go to all the 3D shows, right?
Well, in about 7 months when you get your room done, can you have me over and show me some 3D?
Sure, absolutely. I was actually organizing some 3D.
Actually, nobody
movies.
laughed at that. 7 months sounds about
Because
right.
we don't
doesn't it?
believe it's
No,
gonna be 7 months.
that's quick.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't
like,
believe that
what
at
are you
all.
talking about?
So
man?
one,
7 months.
Don't
one-
nobody believe
I'm
7
hoping
months.
they can get my carpet in here by Super Bowl.
what are you on a
So,
one sheet of drywall per month pace? Is that what it is?
It was, but I'm far beyond that now.
That is
It was-
probably the
was-
only thing we will get GTA 6 before.
So you showed me a picture of the unfinished room. It just made me like get
Yeah.
agita. I was just like, let me in there.
I
I'll
know, right?
I'll help you put that piece of wood up there. Why is that laying down there?
I would love
Done.
to fly over
No,
there.
but seriously,
You
Don,
know?
if we get GTA 6 before your home theater, man, dude, I don't even know.
I
what
would
I'm
say
gonna
it should
say.
be done by the end of
I'm gonna
February.
make a
definitely.
t-shirt.
Not,
I'm gonna
not
be
maybe
wearing-
completely done, but I did get some information the other day, so I'm not going to share it yet. But I may be maybe getting some assistance from someone, so I'm not going to share who or what or anything like that yet.
Good.
But maybe getting some assistance.
We encourage it, buddy.
It'll probably be for the good. It's for
all
the
the
aesthetic.
motivation he
It's
can
for the
handle.
aesthetic side. It's not for
We should start a pool. You all put money in for the pool on when he'll have it done. So do you guys? Any of you guys think it'll be done in 2025? No,
Yeah.
that sounds like a no to me.
Yeah.
I'll say yes.
It will.
Okay.
It will. It
Definitely
has to
gonna
be
be
done. It has to be done. We're not
Dope
going to
Don with the
be talking
3D
about this.
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Who's-
we're not going to be talking about this on the 150th episode of the show. We're just at episode 60.
maybe episode 70. It should be done. So 10 weeks.
Okay.
All right.
All
We're going to
right.
hold you
We
to
have
it.
what? How many people watching? We
I
got
have faith in
27
you, Don.
people watching.
Dope Don with the
Look,
3D
trust me,
Deadpool.
my
Who's-
wife wants it done too. So she's tired of the dining room
You
looking like a
think?
storage facility.
She's been wanting it done. Like
I'm gonna cut out. Let you guys do your thing. I'll be watching a little bit. I just have to do some other stuff here. I'm gonna put
Yeah, no
put it
problem,
on my iPad, and if I need to make a smart ass comment, I'll just type it in.
Yeah.
No problem. Look,
I'll definitely
appreciate
reach
you.
out, man. Look out for an email from me, Bill. Probably
For sure,
tomorrow.
man. And turn all of your high end integrator friends that are building $200,000 rooms to call me. Because this is the kind of brand that Mac Theatron is the thing. If I was in the market right now to put a really heavy duty theater together, I think it'd be kind of cool to be one of the first people to have this brand, especially if you listen to it and you're impressed and you're like, that's a real conversation piece for you too. When people show up, now this is speakers from Ukraine. It's a brand new brand, and it's a cool talking point too about, and it's Ukraine. There's a little bit of a geopolitical angle there to be taken if you'd like. So there you go. Thanks, guys. You guys I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this stuff on here, Don, and you coming by and checking it out really meant a lot to me. I got to get that's my number one goal here, is to get as many ears in front of them as possible. So
yeah, no, it definitely sounded fantastic. And yeah, the only thing I would, and I didn't even sit in the other chairs, but the only thing that I would probably add to that would be just 2 more subwoofers.
I
in
knew
the back.
you'd say that. I knew you'd say that.
That would be it.
Right.
Because you saw me cranking the bass up to 6 and 7, right?
Maybe we could
So
just make up for that with another 3,200 watts and another. Yeah. And I know there was one other thing I wanted to connect, like when I was making the comparison. So if you wanted to put the Hammer 15s, the 2 Hammer 15s in the mix in a discussion, the 3,200 watt amp and the 2 Hammer 15s price out to about what 2 Ascendo sub 16s would be. So you're not talking about something that's ridiculously more expensive than that. It's pretty competitive with them, and I think although you have 2 different kinds of experiences, I think both of those brands are sort of on the same level. You know what I mean, price wise. So there you go. Thanks again. Like I said, I'll be hanging out on the sideline and chiming in with a typed in comment now and then. Thanks again, guys.
No problem. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, Scottio, our news
Mr.
guy
Wiggles.
that was on here for the first couple weeks and then had to bail on us. Hot off the presses, multiple sources are reporting that Macintosh Group has terminated all independent manufacturer sales representatives.
Oh, they just got
Not,
sold, right? So
yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. First of all, you know who bought them, right? So they probably kept a lot of people. So Macintosh probably got rid of because it's no longer a thing. It's
yeah, it might just. Yeah, I think it's expected, right? With that type of a major.
Who bought them? Was it Massimo?
Bose.
Bose bought them. That's right. Yeah, you're right. I remember now. Yeah.
So people they probably you don't want overlapping people. I'm sure they probably kept high performers or needed areas, etc., like that. But yeah, I mean that's
I mean, with a major type of acquisition like that, certain things are expected.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that those people will probably not maybe end up getting the rollback.
Let's just say this. As good as Macintosh is, their marketing was nothing compared to Bose. Bose can sell turds and people are loving to pay 10 times as much. That company has
I would say back in the early 2000s, late 90s, I would agree with you.
Yeah,
but
days,
not now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people are it's just
people don't even want to review Bose for free.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I have a Bose soundbar up in my
Macintosh
room,
had no one would the lineage on that is it's the number one audio name brand. It just is.
Yeah, I wonder how much they bought it, man. That was some serious. That has to be some serious money on that table, man, for Macintosh to go under Bose. You would think it would be the other way around, but market is funny.
No, not even close. Because think of the quantity versus.
No, I'm not looking at the quantity. I'm looking at the quality in terms.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Quality wise, sure, Macintosh, but it doesn't matter if you're selling Bugatti Veyrons, you're not selling 100 of them a day. Bose has so many things with their
it's a larger corporation.
And no one
penetration
with their noise cancellation, and it is what people that just go in and say, hey, I want the best, they're sold Bose, just like for your average home room. Now if you're going home theater or hey, I want high end audio, okay, you're talking Macintosh. That's what everyone thinks. But if you just go in as a regular consumer, your regular person, they're sold Bose.
Obviously they have the market penetration, right, and market share. Macintosh has always been looked upon as that rich folks brand, right? So
yeah.
Which obviously,
I think this is where
Bose is the rich person's brand. Macintosh is the esoteric.
I guess
now
you're using too much big words, man. Yeah.
I think this is where Bose is making money right here.
Oh yeah,
the headphones, right?
Yeah. Their noise cancellation is one of the best.
Yeah. So as far as speakers and stuff, I would say probably more in the soundbar area, right? As it's not very often I go to a Best Buy that I see Bose, speakers. So,
and every time I go there and I see someone trying to buy it, I try to find a way to just
more of a lifestyle speaker, right?
Yeah. Do you even? I was going to say, do you even
find ways to discourage them from doing it?
You don't really see many theaters though, unless you go to the whatever that Magnolia
I mean, look what comes up when I click on speakers.
Yeah.
They're all lifestyle speakers,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not, yet you do have one set of in walls here or in ceilings.
Wow.
Nice.
Yep. Different market.
Yep. So, I mean,
my parents have the 5.1 with the cubes and the subwoofer.
Let's see, home
There you
speakers.
go. I mean,
their room's not treated, so it's real echoey. And I'm just like,
I had 301s. I had Bose 301s. I had buddies that had 901s, and they were cool back in the day.
Yeah.
They're the Apple of speakers.
So this is what you get from them. You don't even have the bookshelves anymore. I mean, these are bookshelves are what they were famous for.
Yep.
So,
but it's different market, different people, and that's what's keeping them in business. They know to follow the trends.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're still making plenty of money off of that lifestyle stuff, sound bars and headphones.
Yeah. So, quickly, next week we will be having Tony from Build Montage joining us.
Oh, really? That's right.
From Australia. So, looking forward to that. He's doing really good. He's done a couple of incredible stuff in his home theater lately. With self-designed masking screen and things like that. So looking forward to getting him on the show next week. So make sure you join us next week. And
I liked 3D so much that I decided to buy 2 copies of the Terminator.
What?
3D.
2 copies. Okay. Are you giving one away as a prize?
I might think about that because
why did you have 2 copies? Someone
so one of them was in the I think it was in that turbine set that I got. It was like 3, and I didn't realize that I already had. I know I got 2 copies of Sing 2 also. So, but yeah, so I may wind up doing some 3D giveaway.
That is probably a pretty good 3D Sing. Like that's probably a good 3D movie. Since it's animated.
I got a handful of 3D discs down. I'll have to check them out backstage after the show. And if you want any, I'd be more than happy to mail them to you because I have no use for them anymore. I don't have a 3D TV, so.
No, I definitely would love to take a look at them.
He's probably got it already, but he would definitely take anything that you have that he does not already have. He has a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually in the process of pulling up my Arvolution video app to see how many 3D titles that I actually have. So it'll tell me in a second here.
Yeah, I just knew that it was going to die off because I've
168 3D titles is what I have.
It's a lot. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, you probably have all the ones I got then. I have like 10.
I probably would be a 3D fan if I could see it, So that's 3D doesn't work for me, unfortunately. But it's I knew once you were required to wear glasses and stuff like that.
That was just that additional because
once they do something where you can it's just there.
Yeah.
That will be it will happen.
That will be 4D,
Yeah. Holographic.
I'm not watching any scary movies, and I don't even watch any right now. How much more 3D?
My issues were if you like kind of tilt your head to the side, it would,
and then it just kind of wobbles.
Yeah, you're off angle. It wouldn't look as good. Like I like to lay down when I'm watching movies a lot of times. So,
and what I hated was some people get like motion sick and stuff like that, or eye strain from just the 3D. And some movies, big blockbuster movies, they didn't even have them in regular, like when they were first released. It was like, 3D, that was all there was. And so I would have to go in and put on these stupid glasses, and all it does is make it flat for me, which is
it's definitely like VR, right? It's like
Like literally, if you want to just close one eye, put on your 3D glasses, and that's what it does for me, right? And I'm just like, okay, well, it's just making it darker for me. Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, but it's it would be pretty cool because I can do a certain thing that like literally strains and hurts, and I've seen like it like a microsecond of it type of deal, and I'm like, oh wow, yeah, that looks like it's actually coming like out of the screen, like even lower than the screen itself. It's like, man, that's weird, but it would be cool. I probably would enjoy it if I could. So I'm not hating on Don, but yeah, it's definitely it seems like everything that ends in 3D is dead. Oro 3D. 3D. So you want to stay away from the 3D, it sounds like.
Yeah, Oro just literally got a stray, man. Just minding its own business.
It's like, nah, man, that's like bad. That's a bad sign right there, man. That's like a stamp of nope.
Yes, so Rob says Suicide Squad.
If you would love to be a guest on the show, please send us an email at Home Theater Hub Live. We have our calendar pretty much open. We're starting to reach out and get a couple of people on the calendar. But if you would like to definitely hop on the show, chit chat, showcase your home theater, whatever you want to do, you know, living room space, it doesn't matter. We just want to share the fun, share the hobby. Yeah. Please send us an email, right? It's the start of the new year. So
with like sound bars and like just basic, like even Sonos set up.
You just made jokes about Bose and now you want people, but no, that's a joke. Yes. Whatever you have, right? We want you to come on the show, you know, show us what you have. Let's talk about your journey, get to know you. You know, and who knows, you might inspire somebody with what you currently have. So
look, it's bad when you know I got step up collection. I got a 3D. This is a 3D collection. So I got step up in 3D.
I am judging you a lot just on the cover of that. Wow. Okay.
So that'll tell you I'm a 3D collector.
We listen and we judge.
Oh my gosh. There's so much judging going on right now.
No, so I actually came here because Rob says about the he said Suicide Squad in 3D, and I was looking. I know I have it. I was just trying to see if I could find it in here, but I have it somewhere. But yeah, so
Do you ever get into the 3D television networks like back in the day and like the early 2010s, I guess? There was like ESPN 3D, and then I think there was one other channel that they had on like network television that was 3D.
No, I never got into that. I didn't know. I actually didn't know that they had those.
Yeah, there was ESPN 3D. I remember I watched one of the national championship college games they had in 3D on ESPN 3D. That was pretty cool to watch, like live sports in 3D.
Yeah, I tell you what's pretty cool is they got that like the VR that you can sit like courtside and stuff that. That's pretty cool. You know,
that would be really fun.
They need to give us 4K TV constantly. Man.
So I have a serious question on 3D. What are there? So I'm assuming it's 3D is like Atmos, right? Like, yeah, you could make something 3D, and if you spend zero effort in it, but you want to make it 3D so you can advertise it as 3D, it's like, oh, hey, 3D. What is, since you're a collector, what's the best and what's the worst as far as 3D implementation? Not movie, not anything to do with the plot or the movie or the storyline, but as far as the implementation of 3D, what, in your opinion only, is the best versus the worst use of 3D? Not that it's bad, not that the word. When I say worst, what's the least impactful or least, impressive 3D? It may be good compared to, if you like 3D.
Watching it drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, movie drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
Avatar is great. Gravity in 3D is good. As worst, I don't know if I can answer worst, but there are some movies that are definitely underwhelming. That are in 3D.
And that's what I mean. Like it's okay. That's 3D. It's good, but it's like if someone wasn't a 3D fan, right? Like don't seek out 3D, right? Your best 3D movies may have like their design, like Avatar is designed around 3D, so that was part of the storyline and doing things like that. But some are literally just like, oh well, let's make use of 3D. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, it didn't really like, okay, one or two scenes. There was some 3D that was worthwhile, but where sometimes you have Atmos that doesn't make sense. It's like, wait, why is there heights? Why is there action happen above whenever this is visually down below? Like who thought that was okay? That type of scenario. Just less than stellar implementation. Like, is there anything? Surely there's something.
You don't remember the ones that don't stick out. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that's true. That's true. So you'll have to, you have to ponder that,
So I belong to, I'm actually pulled it up now. I belong to a couple of 3D groups on Facebook. So if you guys are interested, it's called 3D Blu-ray Collectors Buy, Sell, Trade. So that's one of the groups that I'm in. I don't post a whole lot in there, but it does tell you where you can purchase 3D. What a lot of people will say, hey, this is coming out here. You got to order. I've ordered stuff from I have an Amazon account for Japan. I have an Amazon account for UK. I have several Amazon accounts just to be able to purchase, certain titles that are coming out. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that go on here and they rate, different 3D movies and everything else. I will say Avatar is one of the better ones that actually got, and you can adjust, if you got a good player, you can adjust the 3D too. So you can actually adjust the depth a little bit. Yeah. So
see that, like I said, I can't see 3D. So it was like, the one time I think I saw it, it was like accidental, like, how you have to like maybe focus your eyes in some weird, strainful way to do something. That's the only time I think I saw it. And I was like, oh shit. Well, no one. Yeah. Okay. I get it. But it just doesn't work for me.
I didn't have a bunch of discs, but my favorite was Madagascar 3, the animated one, that 3D. And that was like, had a lot of good parts where it just popped out at you.
Oh yeah, my son loves it. Like I told you, we make it a point to go to, every time we go to Disney, we go to the Mickey Philharmonic attraction there, and what they do, it's literally like, what is I forgot what the actual movie is, but it's got like brooms flying at you. It's got all kind of stuff.
Oh,
it's literally like right there.
The Disney. Oh shoot.
Yep.
Man,
I know the ride is called Philharmonic, but I don't know what movie.
Yeah, where he's like the wizard type of
thing. Exactly. Yep.
Shoot, I can't remember the name of that damn thing. What the hell? Oh well.
If you know in the chat, let us know.
Yeah, what is the name of that freaking Disney movie? It was I've never even watched that. I know,
but I mean the 3D in that is phenomenal.
Oh, wow.
And also the Ratatouille ride is really, really good too. And they make use of the 3D in that, and you literally have like it's actually 4D because you have stuff splashing on you and everything else. When they're mopping the floor, it'll like splash water and be in 3D. So it's really good. So, but yeah. So one thing else that I wanted to show, I don't know if you guys saw or not, but I saw a TikTok video of let me go back. Oh, I shut that down. Let me go back to that here. Let me do this real quick. Google Drive. So I saw an interesting in-wall subwoofer from Paradigm.
Oh, it's from Paradigm. Okay, so this is a legit thing. When you said TikTok, I was like, oh boy.
So this is the in-wall from Paradigm. It's a new subwoofer. Let me see if I can pull up.
Just the same like the one on the website, right?
Yeah, that one's an older model. This one is let me see here. See if I can find what the model number is for this. It says it's the MCK12 in-wall. And I thought it was pretty cool. It's got like two opposing drivers there. So I thought that looked pretty cool, but there's no specs or anything like that on the website. I tried looking for it, but I guess this came out at CES.
So is this a speaker, a subwoofer?
Subwoofer.
They have one on their website, but it's probably the older model because it says discontinued on it.
So they're side firing. So they're oblong, like 16 by 9s or something like that. I mean, they're not 16 by 9s, but like they're oval shape-ish.
Let me try to pull up their one that they're discontinuing.
They can't be any deeper than what, 3.5 inches? If they're in walls. I mean, otherwise it would be on walls with cut a hole in your drywall. At least.
So let's go to the old ones, so we can see what we're. Let me go here, share this tab instead. So we'll just go to this one here.
See, now that's firing. Oh no, that one's firing. Now, is it just the magnets that are sideways and the diaphragms are forward still, or I guess I'm
saying they're 4.88 inches deep.
4.8. So they stick out a little bit in the versus fully flush. Yeah, okay.
It got the little angle grill too, so I guess
okay. I was gonna say, man, how are they doing that? But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, so you're cutting the size, and then it's it's shallow mounts, really. Yeah, there you go. That makes sense. So
so let's
which
they had a new
all in walls stick out a little. So, but yeah, they're just taking advantage of a little bit more, but they're subwoofers, so at that point I guess it doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, I just thought it was pretty neat because I didn't know they even had these prior to that. I know Chuck,
pretty cool.
He's here.
So what's the surface area on that? What are they?
Dual proprietary 3.75 by 15.35.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to do some math. What is it? 3.75 by
15.35
inches.
Carbon X cones are highly damped and tremendously rigid. Yeah, I think we did a tour where somebody had something like that in the back, right, to where they were facing each other. But yeah, I thought it was interesting.
Is it completely sealed? It doesn't look completely sealed.
No, I think they're open baffle.
It's open baffle. That's interesting. You better build that wall properly then.
So yeah, I know Chuck is a is a Paradigm fan, so I don't know if he knew about these or not, but I definitely thought that they were interesting.
Don't give him any additional ideas, man.
I think with the JTRs would rattle them out of the wall.
Those are pretty good, man. That's equivalent to yeah, that's wow. That's damn. So
Good morning, Kevin.
Those are like 8.5 per. So okay.
Oh, the price is not that bad.
So that's two 8.5-inch drivers there. So I'll be right back.
It's similar pricing to the SVS in World 3000s.
Yeah, so I'd like to see some specs on those. See what they can produce.
Says frequency response down to 20 hertz. That's not bad for what, an 8.5-inch driver.
Yeah.
Interesting design too, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I thought it'd be something to bring up since I did see like I said, the one I saw on the website here, one of them was being discontinued. This one here, discontinued for $949. So that's a cool design there.
Very interesting.
4-inch, 4x14s.
Huh.
That's like Paul said, kind of like a 6x9 shape, right?
Yeah. That'd be real interesting to hear those. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, just thought I'd bring that up. So, Michael, I know we're getting to you kind of late here. What's going on with you, man?
Oh, not much. Just working, and I viewed some content over the last couple of weeks since I was on here last. Was able to check out those 2 Smile movies, Smile 1 and Smile 2. Yeah, very, very good.
Yeah, I've heard the sound in those is awesome. So
yeah, especially the second one. My goodness, like the low end. Holy crap, man! That was.
Did you have some neighbors banging on the ceiling?
I almost did. I had to turn the LFE down like 6 dB to get it from just shaking the place down. So,
man,
but yeah, it's very intense. Couple of jump scares, and yeah, it was very, very, very good.
Yeah.
Also watched Juror Number 2. That was a really good movie.
Yeah.
Didn't like the ending. The last 10 seconds were just like, come on.
Yeah, I told you it was. I gave that one a thumbs up too. It was. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
Number 2.
Very enjoyable for sure. And then I watched the second time watching it, the Last Voyage of the Demeter. It's a horror movie. After watching,
there's a lot of demo scenes that come out of that too.
Yeah, I'd forgotten with he flies around the room, and you could hear him circle in the speakers. And I'm like, oh wow, this is incredible, and all the cricks and creaks on the ship, and all the rain and stuff like that. Man, it was very, very good.
yeah, that's that. I know. They played that in the Germani Theater.
Oh, okay.
When we were there, that was one of the demo clips.
Yeah. Oh gosh, so impressed. And then I've been watching Boardwalk Empire HBO series. I don't know if you've.
That's an old one, right?
Yeah, 2010. Yeah, I've never seen it, so I just thumbing through my wish list on Kaleidoscape on Monday, and I'm like, you know what? Let me start this series. So I'm on season 2, almost done season 2 right now out of 5. So yeah,
I watched that a long time. I don't even remember what it's about.
Yeah,
but I know I watched it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kaleidoscape, they have one of the biggest sales that I've ever seen on content.
Nice.
So 355 titles are on sale.
Wow.
In the movie store right now. And some of them are $4 and $5, so
really,
yeah.
I've never seen anything under $10. Oh my goodness! Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's I saw I saw $9. I'm pretty sure I saw $5, like $4.99.
Wow.
But yeah, no, there's 355 titles right now on sale in the Kaleidoscape store, and they're not bad. They're not bad movies either.
Yeah.
So special prices. So
time to spend that money. Too bad I don't have one anymore. So.
the new Heat is $9.99, 4K Heat.
Oh wow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I actually had downloaded that one.
Equalizer 3, $14.99. The 3 movie set is $29.99. Let's see. The Equalizer, I just said. Horrible Bosses was a good movie. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., that's $14.99. That's a good movie. Venom. So, like I said, I'm not going to go through 355 titles, but I'm just going through here. The Kingsman, $9.99, 4K. So,
what did you watch this week?
So the only thing I got to watch this week, because it's been crazy at work, I watched the episode of what do they call that? The Mr. Beast games. So that's the only thing that I really watched this week. It was I'm all into Mr. Beast games. So
gotcha.
Gotta get my reality TV junkie, right? So got to get some of that in there. How about you, Ike? Did you watch anything this week?
No, I did not.
Yeah, you didn't have time. You were hanging up slotted walls.
I was spending a lot of my time. Still not done, but yeah.
How about you, Paul? You watch anything?
Yeah, I've been watching the Star Wars series or saga, not series. The movie started off with I'm on episode 1 now, and I'm watching them in release order. So I've seen episode 4, 5, and 6, or Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and I'm on Phantom Menace right now. I'm rewatching the whole series.
Yeah, so my son for Christmas he got a Darth Vader mask.
Oh, cool.
He's never watched a Star Wars in his he's 5 years old. He's never watched Star Wars, but he does have Darth Vader. We have all of the little action figures from Disney. He wanted all the action figures. He knows the name of all of them.
Oh wow.
And so he plays with them. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be one of the first
he's
series.
Be a fan, yeah.
Yeah, one of the first series that we're gonna watch, in the theater when it's done. I can't wait to sit down and watch that with him.
Yeah. So. Now, would you watch them in episode order, or would you watch them in release order?
So I'd probably watch them in an episode order just for him, right? So because he's not going to know what a prequel is and not everything else at the age 5 or 6.
Yeah, if you're starting that.
I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen them all. So the last ones that I saw were the episodes. When they started the episode, the 3 after the original 3. So that's as far as I've seen. So I've not watched them all either. So it'll be good to watch them, and then we'll get into the Mandalorian and all the other shows that come along with it, afterwards. So
when is the new season of Mandalorian coming? Was it renewed
for a 3rd or 4th? I guess it'd be now, right?
Yeah, it just made me remember.
So it's like the the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they got Ahsoka and all that stuff, So I've not watched any of that. My brother, he's a huge Star Wars fan.
So it doesn't look like season 4 is happening. That sucks.
What's
I
that?
bought the disc for Mandalorian, but hadn't got through them to rewatch them all. I wasn't super impressed with the Atmos on them.
On the disc or on
on the disc, yeah. I watched the first handful of the first season, and I was like, it was okay. The low end wasn't as potent as I would like. So that's Disney for you, I guess, right?
The Atmouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
And the disc is not cheap, man.
Oh yeah.
I think it's like over $50 per season.
Yeah.
Like $150 for like
Dang.
for just 2 seasons.
Yeah, I think that's about what I paid for both of them together. Yeah, it was not cheap.
Yeah, because every time I put it in my cart, and I'm like, nope. It keeps going back to save for later because I'm like, I'm not paying all that to.
Definitely a slow burn for sure. I found them to, just kind of pace along pretty slowly.
No, I enjoyed it. I just don't want to pay since I've already watched it. Right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I can justify buying the 4K disc at that price point.
Yeah.
So to purchase the set on Kaleidoscape, I get 9 movies, $114.
That's not
For
bad.
Star Wars or Mandalorian?
Star Wars, the saga,
okay.
Skywalker saga.
Yeah, I wish they had Mandalorian on there, but they don't.
Yeah, it's a Disney. Disney not going to release that.
Yeah.
No.
Same with the Amazon stuff, like the Lord of the Rings prequel, Rings of Power. Like, I wish they'd put that on disc or something, or Kaleidoscape, but nowhere to be found.
I was gonna watch the movie with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, something Fly Me Over the Moon or something like that on Apple TV.
Okay.
I started it. Let me see what it's called.
Fly Me to the Moon or something, maybe.
Yeah. I turned it on for about 10 minutes and I was so tired I knew I was going to fall asleep on it, so I just shut it off. So I'll try to revisit that this week. And honestly, where I've been watching movies is like in my bedroom on my Bose soundbar. So doing all the wrong stuff, hosting a home theater podcast, right?
No. You're doing the right stuff. At least you're being honest about it, right?
Yeah.
You're not saying it was a Nakamichi or something. So
the Nakamichi dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So
what do you got there, Paul? You got a package, and
I am going to need and I expect to see this on one of your in the background.
Yes. When am I? Do you already have mine packaged? I would love to show. It's amazing, man. Is that what is in the box?
Nope. You'll have to show it.
Okay.
It's packed up and ready to send. I don't have your address. Otherwise, you would already have it.
Just give it out over the air.
I will
Yeah.
send it to you right now.
I'm just saying, it's there. It's ready. It looks pretty cool.
No, I saw pictures of what you're sending. It's fantastic. Actually, it's really good.
It is amazing.
In person, like the pictures look cool, but man, I'm telling you, in person, you're just like, how is that even possible? It's amazing.
You're gonna have to talk about how you did that.
And feel free to charge me for the next batch because I'm about to order some more. Look, see that space? I left it blank for that.
That's gonna
go.
Hey, and I can make a sound panel, and I can a diffusion pan. I can do some stuff, man. So how you do it is actually fairly easy.
Well, let's wait until we get it opened.
No, yeah. I mean, he has one that he's done for himself already, right? So it's not necessarily a secret. You talked about it once.
Yeah. We'll talk about it once you're showing it live.
Okay, good, nice.
We'll talk about it more.
Let me text you that address if I forget.
It's a teaser for whenever you get it, which I don't know. It takes 5 to 6 days to send stuff regular. I'm not paying, $50 for.
You gotta overnight that thing, man.
Yeah, overnight it.
Just when I thought he loved me, man. Now you can't even pay.
He just let you sleep on the couch once.
Yeah, exactly. You did get booted to the couch, but you decided to stay with someone else.
That was after he was done with you.
All right, yeah. Well, he used me for 1 year, and then he was like, "Nah, I found a new bitch." I was like, "Okay, fair enough."
Oh man.
Well,
guys, on that note, I think we'll go ahead and call it a night.
Yes, since Paul decided to just go buck wild.
I mean, these nitros do have skulls on. These are actually nitro coffee stouts.
That's the same one you had last week, right?
Yeah, I have 2 more. These are big boys. These are tall boys. These aren't.
So as Ike said, if you would like to be a guest on the show, please email us at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. We'd love to have you as a guest, talk about movies that you just seen, or show off your home theater. I know Ike's got some people lined up, as mentioned. Tony from Build Montage will be on next week, as long as everything goes well. I hate announcing people ahead of time because it never works out, but
you're taking a chance, man.
Hopefully everything will work out. I reached out to someone that is that's building speaker cabinets, and it's doing a darn good job at it. So maybe we can get him on to talk about how the DIY process of doing that, and also show his theater. So I just need to get with these guys and see what dates are available for him. So once again, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. And if you'd like to purchase anything Arvolution that we talked about today, please send me an email at horizontheater2020@gmail.com, and we can get you set up for that. So, all right, everyone, appreciate you joining us this week. Until next week, adios.
Later.